Hey, it's your girl Lisa Danae, and it is time for Black Coffee with a side of tea. I hope you're ready. I hope you're seated and relaxed because, do we have some tea to spill
Yes.
today?
Let's go.
We're here with a very special guest, an artist by the name of Mo Unique, and we're going to learn so much more about her as the time goes on. But I want to give an opportunity to shout out the co-host. Latriva Deneen is in the building.
How y'all doing today, lovelies?
Felicia Chantel.
Hello.
And her stage name is I Am Goddess Fee.
All right.
We need to lead with that.
Right.
Okay. Anything with goddess in it, that's what we need to lead.
Go
with.
first.
So how's everybody doing? How's your week? What's going on with you? I need to know.
I would like the guests to go first. How's your week going?
So I have been blessed beyond any fear.
Awesome.
I've just been relaxing, doing homework, making more music, just enjoying life.
That's good. That's nothing better than enjoying life.
Yes.
My week has been pretty good. It's been pretty relaxing, even though it's busy. I know that that's kind of oxymoronic. But it's like I'm busy. I have some things going on, but nothing is really stressing me out.
Mm-hmm.
I've just been in a place of gratitude because such good things are happening for me right now, and so I'm trying to stay in that zone.
Yes.
Things are coming to try to knock me out, but I'm holding on to it because why let negativity take over, right? So my week has been amazing.
I like the sound of that.
Right?
Well, my week it's been decent. I can't complain. I'm ready for the week to continue because I have a show on Friday.
All right. What kind of
Tell us about
show?
your show coming up
Well,
on Friday?
it's a poetry/comedy show with the Poetic Den. I'll be performing poetry. I haven't did this since March, so I'm overly excited.
Awesome.
It's called Date Night.
All right.
Date night.
I will actually
That's
be in
cute.
the building. I already got my tickets.
Hey.
All right. Now we're definitely gonna have to put some information about that on
Yeah.
our website and invite people out. Date night. Let me hear her find me a date real right quick.
I had to pick one of my girlfriends. I was like, I ain't got it.
Come with me.
I mean, I like my
Got
girlfriends, but at the same time, I want a real date
Yes.
night.
That's
Or
good.
I mean, maybe I'll just leave the option open just in case.
Right.
Go to
Somebody
looking
there.
good.
That's the truth.
For everyone there's single people, there's always single women and there's single men. So therefore, y'all must know.
And you know,
come
people,
dating.
yes,
At the event.
and people been
Yes.
out. People been cooped up with COVID.
So they coming out
Folks
looking.
coming out sharp with their best cross colors on. They pulling out the old stuff because they want to impress you in the room. Because they don't know.
best.
Yes, they don't know if they're gonna get shut down again. So
Right.
while I'm able to collaborate with y'all, let me see who's gonna be on the list for the next shutdown.
And that's extremely important. Please bring out your old stuff so I can tell by looking at you
How old you
whether
are?
or not
Come on now.
you are eligible to holler at your girl. Because honestly, if you pulling out cross colors, walk on by. Walk on by.
Or if you 65 and sagging.
I don't care if you're 25.
Walk on by.
Look, with me, you could be 25 and saggy.
And that's
still
still
walk by.
That's the truth.
Yes.
That is the truth.
Yes, indeed. No sagging.
Okay.
But that's for a whole nother show.
For real.
But yeah, I'm so excited about that. I can't wait to see you perform again.
Yeah.
I remember the last time I seen you perform. She does her thing.
Awesome.
So we definitely gonna put the information out there for everybody so we can all get out. We've been cooped up
Yeah.
for a while.
Yeah.
We all been kind of cooped up for a
Yes.
while.
If they're responsible, then yes, go out and have a good time. Be
Yes.
responsible.
Masked up.
Absolutely.
Most definitely.
Distanced out.
Yes.
Yes, social distancing.
Yes.
We
But
have to
have
understand
fun.
that this is gonna be our new normal
For a while. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what I've been telling people is like you really have to pack your patience.
Mm-hmm.
You can't go out like you used to go out and just feel like
Mm-hmm.
everything gonna be quick and easy.
Mhm.
I'm gonna get in and out.
Right.
That's
Not
over.
even.
Yeah.
You got to bend like bamboo because
Yeah.
it's real, and every situation is going to be different every time. It might be different from visit to visit at the same place. So
Yes.
you're absolutely right. You can't come in here high strung and ready to fight somebody because the line is long or because you got to wait. Come
Right.
on, stay at home, stream it if you're gonna be impatient. Because none of us have time for attitude.
And I think we should keep in mind that this is not over.
Right.
This pandemic is not over.
And it's about to be fall. So we don't know if there's going to be some other manifestation of it. So enjoy yourselves now. Like she said, it's not over. Come on.
Come out and have fun.
Right. And if you have been ill in the last 7 to 14 days,
you stay at home.
That disclosure.
We'll post all about it.
We should all know the spiel by now.
Absolutely.
Because if you go any doctor's office anywhere, they ask you, have you been ill in the last 7 to 14 days? Have you been around anyone who was exposed to COVID? So we need to start asking this in our dating life as well.
That's a great point.
Have you been ill in the last 7 to 14 days? Because if so, let's go and postpone this date night, for another time.
A longer time, probably like 2 more weeks.
Yes.
I need to stay in the house.
Going in quarantine. Yeah, we will meet on Zoom.
Right.
So let's go ahead and get into a little discussion with our special guest, Mo Unique.
I'm ready.
Okay.
Tell us about yourself. Let us know who you are, what you do, and what you're all about.
Well, I am originally from Florida. I'm a Florida girl. I moved here probably like 3 years ago.
Okay.
But I love to write. So I started with making scripts and movies and things like that. So I'm really good at writing. And I can't really hold my feelings in. And I wrote a song and I was like, you know what, this sounds good, too good to give away. You know what I mean?
Okay, that's right. That's right.
So I want to be selfish and just keep it for myself. So I wasn't really thinking about it was going to do so well until I put it in the air and just let God just go.
What's the name of the song?
Nope. Yep.
I like that.
All right.
NOPE.
All right. I love that title.
The title is misleading because when you hear the title, you're like, okay, this might be something, lighthearted.
Right.
But when you hear the song, it's pretty serious.
Yeah, it's definitely that. It's one of those songs where I feel like every woman would relate to. You done been lied to, you done been cheated on. So it's like you're gonna look at him and be like, do I need to know you today?
Saying the word nope just sounds like something like
right.
Nope.
Right.
It sounds powerful.
And it sounds final.
Yeah.
Like that on the end, the period. So that's good. That's a message in itself.
It really is. That's a empowering word right there. So when you wrote the song, did you have anybody in mind? We're not gonna put their business out there, or was you just talking to everybody?
No, I had a very specific person in mind. It was very specific. Mm-hmm. I was in a relationship for 9 years, and I was going through a very tough time of domestic violence. I was going through homelessness. I had a child homeless.
Okay.
So it just came to a point where I just had to stop and just keep saying no to everything until I got what I needed. Okay. So it was definitely someone specific.
That's right. That's right. Motivation.
I like that because I think that it's important to get those feelings out. A lot of people have experienced domestic violence, and unfortunately, people are ashamed to talk about it. So when you decided to put it in the song, did you have any feelings of, well, maybe I don't want people to know it's me?
Good question.
Nope.
No. Our answer is on the ready.
I had to really not worry about what other people was gonna think because I always figured like if I'm gonna tell people, hey, you're too beautiful to be in a relationship that's not good for you, or you in a relationship by yourself and you're not treating yourself you need to be treating yourself. You need to just stop and just be like, no, I'm not gonna do it. I can't do it to myself. I'm not gonna let you do it to me. Like so,
that's right.
I wasn't thinking about nobody's feelings.
And that's a great point as far as if you are in a relationship with yourself, and we all are, and you aren't treating yourself well. You need to be able to break those. Yeah, you need to be able to break those bad habits about how you treat yourself. Because then, if without that, then you're going to accept that same sort of treatment because that's what you do to yourself. So that's such a great point.
Yeah, it becomes a cycle.
And you draw that. So if that's what I believe about me, that's what I'm going to attract. People that are going to reinforce that attitude about me. And if it's negative, then it's destructive.
And that's all people really see these days. They see a lot of negative in the news, on Facebook. you never see so much happiness, you know,
Yes.
until someone has to be like, hey, have a good day,
Point
or
it out.
love, or point it
Yeah.
out. Like, no, spread love all day,
Right.
every day. Like,
Right. Images we don't see. That's right.
So doing this song, performing this song, have you performed it yet publicly?
No, I have not.
Ooh.
This is actually an exclusive.
Okay.
I haven't performed it nowhere. I wanted to just take my time. Like other people, they like to rush.
Mm-hmm.
This is very sacred to me because it's serious.
Yes.
You know, so I didn't want to just put it out there and be like, hey, you know, I'm gonna make a couple of dollars off of it.
Right.
No, I need to think about the next move.
Right.
Think about the next person that's gonna see it or hear it. So when they inbox me and say, hey, you know what, this was really powerful, forget the beat. I heard the words.
Right.
You know, the words are inspirational to me. You know, so I wanted to make my moves very clear and crystal.
Yes.
I didn't want to perform it nowhere until I start talking.
Yeah. Yes. Okay.
Well, I probably most definitely need to work with you.
Let's work.
Let's go.
That's what I do. I put on shows.
Yes.
And I be looking for artists all the time to who wants to give their energy and wants to give that show and really want to tell their story.
Right.
I be looking for that, but I can't find it nowhere.
You know what's crazy about that? The funny thing about that is, like, when I first moved out here to Houston, I was, like I told you ladies, I was doing film.
Mm-hmm.
I always hear people say they want to do something, you know, but when they are actually in the paint and you have to actually do it on that day, people be like, you know what, this came up, that came up, this came up.
Right.
Like, no, you ain't really want to do it. Just tell me you ain't want to do it.
Right.
Tell them no. Say
nope.
Nope. Say it again.
Nope.
Now you're hitting on something that we're going to be talking about later when we get to our soapbox segments. You really hit on one of my soapbox issues. So that segment is coming up. We're going to all get on our soapbox and talk about our pet peeves. That is absolutely one of them for me. But we're not going to jump ahead. So the song, like I said, I have heard the song. Unfortunately, we don't have the song today.
Okay.
But Mo Unique is coming back next month in honor of Domestic Violence Awareness. And we are going to have a special show on Lisa Dene Live. We might be able to get her back on Black Coffee with a Side of Tea as well.
That'd be great.
Because we are doing a themed show for October, Domestic Violence Awareness.
Awesome.
Most people who know me know that I am also a survivor of domestic violence. And I have a song that I wrote also. And I have a video out there. It's called Love Myself More. And the theme of that song, when I heard her song, it really reminded me of that. Because the only way I had to get free was to understand that I have to love myself more than I love this person. And I have to love myself more than I love being married. Love having a boyfriend. Love, you know, having a companion. I have to love myself more than the house, more than the car. Yes, I have to love myself more. And so I'm very pleased that her and I connected because we are definitely going to be able to help a lot of people out there. So with that being said, getting out of an abusive relationship is the hardest thing to do.
Come on.
Yes.
So how did you deal with that part of it?
To be honest, I have to give a lot of credit to my oldest brother. My oldest brother, every time I left and ran to him, he never told me to leave. You know, he just told me, when you're ready and you're done, you're going to be gone. You know, so you always have somewhere to come. You always got a couch or a bed to sleep in. So I have to give all the credit to, well, of course, to me because I left. But I have to give him that credit because I had no one to run to, not even my parents. And when I ran to him, he was like, you know, we can handle this one or two ways. So which way you want to go? And honestly, I wasn't done. I just needed to tell him about it. And if he would have did something, I probably would have went back. You know, ran right back. And then my brother came. I came with my son. My son was probably like, I want to say about 8 years old at the time. And I had my bags in my hand, and he was like, "So you're done?" And I said, "You see all my stuff, right? This is the final move." And he was like, "Okay, so what's the next plan?"
Let's go. That's so awesome.
It's a good point that you raised because a lot of times people don't know what to say. And they often say the wrong thing. When people say, "Why do you stay?" That's the worst thing you could ever say to a person in an abusive relationship because it's complicated. It's too many layers to it. You don't want to shame the person.
That
And
makes
so
sense.
what her brother did is like textbook
Yeah,
example of what counselors and advocates tell people to say.
right.
When you're ready, you'll
You're
leave.
ready, right.
Because think of it like this.
Okay.
Listen to what people say all the time, what you hear on the radios and stuff. How many times does it take a battered woman to actually leave? 7 to 10
On
times.
average, 7 times.
Wow.
Yeah.
7 to 10 times.
Okay.
And this is just the beginning level. No, to actually go and come back. They leave and go come back
7
to 10
times.
Yep.
Wow.
So for someone to tell you you're not ready, don't do this, or why are you doing this? You deserve better.
Right.
That's actually making you want to run back to him because
Right.
you may have a little more security or whatever you're holding on at home. So don't tell people why are you there, why are you this, why are you that. Just be like, when you're ready, you're gonna walk away.
Right. And this is a safe space for you to come
home, like when you're ready.
That's good. So you are the landing place.
Yes.
Be that place that somebody can come those 7 times until they know that they're ready to move.
Because what's funny is it may not even take those 7 times.
Anyway, yeah.
You probably said it the second time. By the third time, she was gone.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes.
It's how you said it.
Mm-hmm,
So
got it. That's good. Thanks.
That is very good. And I want to continue this discussion because I think a lot of people need to know this. It's very important. Domestic violence has been on the rise since this pandemic started.
Mm-hmm.
People are stuck with each other.
Yeah.
And so a person that is being abused or in a toxic relationship has nowhere to go.
Right.
The shelters are full.
Right.
And I don't know if people know this, but if you have a child, a male child, over a certain age, he cannot go to the shelter with you.
Yeah.
And so a lot of mothers have to choose between the well-being of their male son
I didn't know that, Lisa.
and their own well-being. I found that out because that's a choice I had to make. When I was in a position to go to a shelter and they said to me, well, you know your 16-year-old son, he cannot come.
He's a man.
Then he becomes a threat, potentially.
Yeah.
Or he could trigger some people.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, well,
How?
what am I supposed to do? Leave my son with the abuser?
Right.
So it's really hard to make these types of decisions. And that's why it's important for people to know what to say when somebody comes to you. You definitely don't ever want to shame a person. That's the worst thing to do.
Absolutely.
Is question their decisions because obviously you're not in the right frame of mind. It's always complicated.
And they're already questioning themselves.
You know what's crazy? I'm sorry to cut you off, but this is what's crazy. So let's start from the beginning. One, the shelters are not taking no one at this time.
Right.
Because I literally just went back to the place that I was at trying to volunteer. They're not even accepting volunteers.
Okay.
So no one is allowed to get in because of all this pandemic. Anybody that's in there is already in there. That's it.
Got it.
So you telling, people, hey, you need to leave him. Are you going to open your house to me?
To go where?
And that is a big question to ask. Before you say and tell me what I'm going to do, how can you help me?
Yes.
Do you have resources to keep you safe? Because if you don't, you can't advise people to leave. That is the worst time for a person to be having these conversations because that's when they're most in danger.
Right.
When they're trying to leave.
Right.
Or it's going to trigger them to want to go back to that safe spot. They got money in the house, in the car, in the food.
More than whatever they have.
Yep.
More than what they would leave.
Yep.
Absolutely.
So if you don't have something to exchange.
You know what? It wasn't even an exchange.
Okay.
It was more like, if you didn't have a plan for me to do better.
Okay.
Yes.
Because I walked out with nothing but clothes. And I invested in cars, houses. Like I really hustled in a relationship. We had everything. We had 4 cars, a big house.
Yeah.
I left everything. So if I was walking to this stranger to say, hey, I'm gonna leave all of this behind, don't tell me you don't know where my next meal gonna come from.
Got it. Because this is security that I'm leaving.
And not only that, I have a child with me.
Yeah.
Even if you by yourself, like you don't want to be on the streets and be like, I got myself to feed.
This makes
Absolutely.
I'm sorry. This makes me think about my mother. Because my mother was in a domestic violence relationship when I was between the ages of 7 to maybe 10 years old. And I watched her go through this. And I also remember the day when she finally left. I was 10 years old with my little sister. And she told us, she said, Felicia, Cameron, y'all can go outside, go play. Mama got something to do right now. And we was outside and we was listening to what was going on. Mom, like they were yelling, and we could hear something being hit, but we didn't know what it was. All we know is that afterwards, he ran outside with his stuff and left. And then my mother called us in and she explained to us what just happened. and seeing the tears in her eyes and seeing how she's like, we have to leave here.
Mm-hmm.
We gotta go.
Yeah.
And we can't look back.
Mm-hmm.
And right then and there, it just being a child in that position, because I've never physically been in a domestic violence relationship, but seeing someone go through that, it made me very vulnerable to individuals such as yourselves when y'all go through it. And I'm like, I could not even much imagine me going through that.
Right.
So my heart goes out to you guys.
Well, nobody plans it. I can tell you that for sure.
Yeah.
And another thing that I've learned throughout the years, because I've been a public speaker speaking about this for a number of years since my first marriage. So what I learned is that a lot of times what people don't understand, people think, oh my God, how could you let someone do that to you? And what people don't understand, a lot of times abusers often pick overachievers. They often pick overconfident women. They often pick women who have a real strong foundation, know who they are, because you are more of a challenge for me to break you down.
Wow.
Now, if you already come to me with low self-esteem, like that's
there's
like
no
being
work.
a bully.
Right. Wow.
What's the point? What's the point?
So there's a psychology to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. To topple somebody who you see already on a pedestal and bring them down from that, it brings them power.
Wow.
Yeah, and so sometimes women who go through this are ashamed because they feel like, I know I definitely shouldn't have been here.
No, like it's funny. I never felt like that because I know I'm strong.
Right.
No one can tell me I'm not strong. Like if you met my family, you'd be like, girl, how did you do it with them? So, I know I'm strong. So when I got in that situation, it was more like what I felt like it was this. He knew what I was trying to achieve. So he was like, okay, I like that too, trying to build up the hype for me. So I could be like, oh my God, he's just, like-minded as I am. We can do it together.
Right.
And then when things hit the fan, it was like, you're going to struggle by yourself. I'm going to come in every now and then, but you're going to struggle by yourself. And then when I do come back in, I'm going to bring you like this gift.
That's a psychology.
Yeah, that's the psychology part of it. He going to take and he going to give. He going to take, he going to give. Lord. And when you have a child, okay, before I even had my child, let's just say, just me alone. When you have yourself well-being, washing your body, cleaning yourself, your hair and all this, you think about how I'm going to get my money. And a 9 to 5 is going to pay your rent and it's going to pay your light bills every other month. Stuff. But the other extra stuff you need, sometimes you do want the other person to help you out. So walking out is not always easy because you're going to be thinking like, well, shoot, if I get let's go low apartment. If I get a $700 house, apartment or whatever, I got to still pay light, rent, feed these kids, put clothes on their back, and it makes it a lot tougher. So
having a little bit of help is more than nothing.
Yeah, but don't be ashamed to walk away.
Yeah,
absolutely. We're going to take a quick pause for the cause and mention one of our sponsors.
So this show is sponsored in part by the groundbreaking book presented by P. Coffee Brown, Why He Married Her and Played Me, 9 Secrets to What He's Thinking, co-authored by Stunner Radio's own Darren Baker. The pre-sale price is $15. Pre-sales are available now through October 1st, or get your autographed copy from Darren through Cash App at $SYNTER. You know you want to know why he married her and played you, so get a pre-order copy today.
Absolutely. Thank you so much to that sponsor. I want to just continue this discussion before we get to our soapbox. We have a few minutes with this. I want to piggyback on something that you said. I found that for me, I was always extremely independent. So I didn't have that particular issue as far as not knowing what I was going to do. But I did have this issue of not being able to outrun this person. So literally I went to the Hilton, he came there. I went to the Hampton, he showed up there. Moved across town, he found me. So for me, when I went to a shelter and they were hampering my movements, and I'm like, okay, I got money in the bank, so I ain't really gotta be here. But I needed to be somewhere safe where it was a confidential location. He could not find me. And it really made it hard when they kind of hamper your movements and put you on a curfew, and you used to doing your thing,
right?
And I'm kind of like, the Hilton looking much better right now.
Right, it's real,
but it's real. But I had to learn humility. I had to learn that my safety was more important than my comfort, and definitely the safety of my children was more important than my comfort.
Right.
But I think that sometimes parents, and this is what I like to tell people when you're parenting, look at your child's future. Think about what you are doing to your child that will make them more susceptible to these type of arrangements. Because when you talked about, your job only paying enough for your bills, see, I just feel like we should be teaching our children that your bills should not be more than your income.
Right.
Yeah.
If your bills are more than your income, you got the wrong job.
Yeah.
Wrong job.
Or you got too many bills.
I learned
that's the truth.
And
that is the truth.
And also, I learned this, and I had to go back and talk to my father about this. My father used to buy me gifts after he punched me. And I told him, I said, you kind of set me up. Because he said, well, my feelings was hurt every time I had to put you on punishment, or if I had to spank you or whatever, my feelings were hurt. So he would go buy me these little jewelry sets.
Yeah.
And honestly, I got used to punishments. Because I was like, what's coming behind this? And when I found myself in a marriage where my husband would do these elaborate gifts after every fight, I literally started looking forward to fights.
Wow.
And then I knew I needed to get in counseling.
Yeah.
Because I said there's something wrong. This ain't
normal. Yeah.
I should not be looking forward to our fights. And when I say elaborate, it was elaborate stuff.
Wow.
Like he would show up to my job with all these wonderful gifts. And of course people at the job didn't understand.
God.
And they were like, oh, he's the best. Oh my God. And I would be like, you can have him.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Take him off mine.
Slip that number right in his pocket.
Yes. So all these flowers and deliveries
mean nothing.
Sending food for the whole office and all this stuff. Yeah, but people didn't know behind the scenes I was suffering.
Yeah.
So I think that as parents, you got to really pay attention to your child's personality. And for me, at that point, I really did like receiving gifts. I did.
Wow.
I liked receiving gifts. So, I mean, I don't know. I feel like I tolerated 11 years of something that I knew was not right for me in year one.
You know what I did when I started noticing that, because at first I didn't even know I was a domestic violence, in a situation to be in a domestic violence. I just thought, nobody taught me this. Like, my parents wasn't there. So me going through this, it was just me by myself, just you do it. Like, this is what you got to do for your living. Like, no one actually taught me nothing, So when I was going through this and I had my son, like, I kept thinking to myself, like, what am I teaching him?
Right.
I'm in this relationship where he don't see nothing, but he know my feelings. He know when my mood is different. He know when I come in and I'm short-tempered, something happened. Mama ain't never short-tempered with me.
Right.
So when it got to the point where I felt like I was not giving as much as I needed for him.
Okay.
That's when I started feeling like, because it's different when you only think about yourself,
right?
Which you should always do, but it's another feeling when you have someone else that you have to think about. They innocent, they don't know nothing.
Sure.
So when I started thinking about him, I was like, hold on, wait a minute, hold on, this is not happening. Right. Time to go.
Yeah.
Had you ever been in a situation, either of you, where prior to those relationships, you may have judged other women, or not necessarily, maybe you didn't come out of your face with the judgment, but you had the question internally, like, why would they put up with that? Like, if you knew anybody, had you ever had that experience?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
I was one of those people because, to give you an idea of how I was, for my 16th birthday, I was given a 12-gauge shotgun. That was my gift from my father.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So I've been around guns. I know how to shoot. Okay. And my father bought me a machete when I was like 14.
What was his mindset around that? Like,
why? Protection.
So as a
and also don't be afraid of guns.
Okay.
Once you know how to use one, you're not afraid of one pulled on you. You know just what you need to do.
Okay.
Also, I started driving very early. So I started driving early. And so I had my own car, and I would always need something in my car.
My
dad told me that. You gotta have something on you.
Okay.
So I was never the type of person when I saw people like a man putting their hands on somebody, I'd be like, That'll never be me. Because I'm strapped.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
I keep the peace.
I keep it. Right. Right.
But I mean,
to be honest, I seen this growing up in my household.
Okay.
So I was not the type to be like, that will never be me. I just always said, if that was me, I need to be the one to know what I need to do next.
Right.
Like, because I seen my mama go through it.
Right.
Like, my daddy wasn't, he was there, but I never seen him, do anything to my mama. So I can't say, yeah. So I would say, like, if I saw someone in front of me, I would be like, hey, it's places that help you.
Right.
Like, I was always like that. If somebody walking down the street sad, I'd be like,
okay,
in your face, like, hey, how you doing?
So no judgment about it, but you could recognize it.
Yeah, of course. Like, I mean, not just looking at you, knowing, but sometimes, like, have you ever felt like when you like did something or seen something in the past that there was a warning sign that you can hit rock bottom?
Absolutely. And I have spoken at shelters and stuff, and I can see it on people. It's just like a drug addict. I don't care how long you've been clean, you can drug addict a mile away.
Come on.
You don't care how long they've been clean. You can look at it and be like, okay. And it's the same with a person that's been in an abusive relationship. I've said this about Melania Trump. I know people like, girl, please. But listen, Melania ain't safe. I don't care what y'all think. That woman has been abused. That's just my personal opinion.
I believe
and I hope for her that she is able to be free someday. I mean, because she has a son too. So and he's a very powerful man, the president of the most powerful country in the world.
Yeah.
So I feel like as women, we always, and not only women, but mostly women, we have to make these types of decisions, and it's unfortunate. When you get into a relationship with somebody who is so controlling, and how can you outrun a person like that? How can you outrun a leader, a president? And I'm not saying I don't have no personal inside information.
Right.
I'm just saying,
let us know.
like you said, like you can see it. On someone.
When it's on,
you can see it.
Like when you look at someone and you think, okay, like just a snap of a newscasting or something like that, where they got to be standing together. If you see like their body language just like you know like what something healthy is supposed to look like,
right?
And they just shrug to the side, or if they try to touch you, they move their hand, or, like like those little bit of things to where if he talking, she way over here. She's not even paying attention.
And that leads us to our next segment, which is tea time.
Let's sip this tea, Missy.
We're going to talk about some current events and current topics. One of the current topics that's been going around social media now is the boyfriend of Tamar Braxton.
I just saw
that he is a victim of domestic violence.
By her?
By her. And so I think that a lot of times it's really hard for men to come forward. Right. Because, of course, people thinking you let a woman hit you.
Right.
So what do you guys think about that?
I believe it.
Wow. Tell me why.
So if you think about how she acted with Vince, how she always had to be in control, how she do her own family. She's always allowed, got to be the center of attention. Like, it's plenty episodes where they had to stop taping for this girl. Like, even when they did what's the show they was on? The show she was on with Tamara Mowry, the talk show.
The Real.
When she was on The Real, like, you can tell how her energy was compared to everyone else's energy. And I feel like I've seen her just explode in positions to where you're supposed to be in front of a camera teaching these little girls how to make money like you. Right. But you trying to degrade your husband, beat up on your husband. Like, I've seen it on TV, like reality shows. So why would I not think it's in private?
Yeah.
If you do it in public, what makes you think you won't do it in private? I believe it.
I think that there's some merit to it. I can't imagine him coming out publicly and it never happened. Because, then he'll be in trouble. I mean, she could sue him for that. Liable, yeah. So I don't think that it never happened. I think perhaps, there may have been some abuse on both sides. And I think that's where education comes in. Like you said, you didn't even know you were in a domestic violence situation because people haven't been educated on, and you would think it's common sense, but it's not common sense. one thing about it is mental abuse and verbal abuse is sometimes more hurtful
Yes.
than even physical abuse, because those things go with you the rest of your life.
Yes.
And you think about, you replay these things that this person has said to you, even in your next relationship, even in your next job or whatever you're in. And a lot of times people are verbally abused by their parents and don't even recognize that you're taking this into your relationships.
Right.
Because your mama called you the B word.
Right.
And then now when your man call you that,
You're
it don't
comfortable
seem
with it.
like a problem.
You're comfortable with it.
And so I feel like perhaps both individuals may have come into this relationship without proper knowledge of what healthy is.
Right.
To be honest, I think she moves fast. Like, I'm just being honest. Like, you weren't even all the way out your marriage and you was already laying in the bed with your son and the man. Like, I just think you moved so fast when you
I'm
couldn't
asking
heal.
for that though.
Why are you this way? Why are you like this? Why are you like this, Lisa?
I'm just saying, sometimes the marriage been over.
You
know what I'm saying?
It's just a
And
matter
you
of
just
moving on.
put it on paper.
Come on.
Yeah.
And when you free, you be like, next up.
Oh my God. So you ready already. You ready already.
But was she ready emotionally? Because if you didn't see that breakdown she had right after Vince, and then it was like immediately she met this man, and then she wasn't even like, if you see the pictures with them too, like I what it was like in Bahamas or something like that. The pictures didn't even seem like she was blissful at the beginning.
Okay, with this guy.
Yeah, so
I don't know. I have a lot of hesitation about saying certain things because I do recognize it's television. I do recognize it can sometimes be propaganda. I do recognize that. However, I think I'm going to base so I don't know her relationship stuff, right? I'm thinking about her as a sister on the Braxton Family Values. Same thing. It's a TV show, editing, that sort of thing. But just, I've seen her on Iyanla, I've seen her on all of these different situations. And the energy that she gives off is very selfish, self-centered. You know, if it's not centering on me, then I'm going to make it about me. And then she can just pop off and get so angry so fast. And so it's made me look at her and question or just feel a way about, like, as a person, you are super selfish. And if you, I don't know. I think I remember at the end of her relationship with Vince that there were rumors that there was conversation about him having been abusive towards her. I don't remember if there was anything where he said that she had been mutually abusive. So if there is the abuse, then I can see where that would stem from her parents' relationship in terms of, I don't know if it was physical, but we do know there was cheating and how that, you know, translates for folks. But I just feel like Tamar needs help. And I feel like Tamar is so worried about her image, and she's so worried about how things appear and getting material things that she is willing to be in these relationships and in these places with people where she's able to use it for entertainment fodder. And if that's not available, then she doesn't, she's not happy. And when they said that she had tried to commit suicide, I was like, is this based on, is this because of how hurt she is internally? Like, is this coming from her finally reconciling, like, I have all of these dark spots and I want to deal with them? And it seemed like it was triggered because her image was going to be portrayed in a way on this new show that was less than flattering. And so I was like, okay, so is this suicide to get people to not focus on that, or for us to not see that side of her? Because she's had a very negative public image for a long time. Well, and so go ahead. I
just feel like, you know, it took a lot of guts to come out and admit that she really did try to kill herself.
Right, that's true.
Because the reports, the media reports were not clear.
Right. And
she could have released a statement and said, like, that's not what happened. Right. I accidentally took some things.
With some alcohol.
That's a step in the right direction. And I feel like, you know, whatever goes on with her and her guy, you know, these are real people. So we do sit here and talk about them, but these are real people. And so hopefully we can just send positive energy her way.
For sure.
I really think this is the time that someone needs to reach in and touch her and help her.
Yeah.
She's asking for it.
But is she? Because all of the times that I feel like the help that she has gotten in the past, it's been put on her. I feel like Tamar feels very much in the right all the time. And it makes it very difficult, or it has made it very difficult for her to receive help. Like on the Braxtons, they've been to like 6 different therapists. And so I think that what's going to happen is, when it's going to happen for her is when she truly decides, like, there is something I need help with. And I'm hoping that maybe that happened in this treatment on, after her attempt, but I don't know. Like,
I don't have to wait and see. We're gonna wrap that up, and we're gonna talk about the next topic in the tea time with Felicia Chantel, talking about the new show. It's very popular, P Valley.
Yes, ma'am.
What is the topic related to P Valley that you want to talk about today?
First of all, do y'all watch?
Absolutely.
Okay, so y'all all know about P Valley. About Uncle Clifford, and all
Little Murder,
and that's the person I want to talk about, because in the show he plays the love interest of Uncle Clifford. And with me, I always thought that he played that character so wonderfully, I was like, he must be gay in real life. And then I saw a picture of his wife and his little girl. I was like. So then all of a sudden the status that was circling around that was, would you be okay with your husband or your significant other playing a gay role? That is the question.
Yeah, this is
because I think it's a very deep question. I think it's unfortunate that people would think he's gay in real life. Like, he plays a rapper too. That mean a rapper in real life?
Come on.
So if he play a murderer, he a murderer in real life?
Come on.
If he play a cop, do we look for a badge? I mean, I really think I don't know. Why do people think that way? It's called acting.
Exactly. That is his profession.
But see, I think that people see him and he played it so good.
That's what he gets paid for.
That's what he gets paid for. The sex scene was the part where a lot of people like,
you know what?
Questioning, like, are you okay?
I think that's what's wrong with society. They give these actors these platforms to do well, and then when they do well, they be like, are you really that good? No, you really that good. Let that man stand out, because when he's gone, you're gonna be like, dang, I wish I could have gave him his props. He did what he got paid for, and he did a good job. I will let my husband play that role.
I would too, because for one, it might make you a little uncomfortable at first, but you have to understand that this is a profession. And although you get people who come off the street, like Cardi B, all of a sudden she got a role in a movie, you think that this is easy. These people have studied this. This is a profession, so they are professionals. So one thing I can say about his role, he did play the part. Most definitely, most certainly. But I wanted to talk about this, so I was glad when you brought it up. The reason was because I had literally said, let me get somebody that look at me the way Little Murder look at Uncle Clifford.
I mean,
that is beautiful. And love is just that. I mean, it doesn't matter what form it comes in. If you can see a person show love, you should feel happy feelings from that. It shouldn't only have to be from heterosexual people.
I think the reason why people start questioning it can most definitely understand him as an actor. I just also understand what people may be thinking that's outside looking in.
Well, if you ever come to my set and you auditioning for what I am doing, you're going to audition for what I am doing. Period. You can't sit there and say, well, maybe he's gay because he played this part good and then Queen Latifah played this part. They are two different people.
Two different projects, two different movies, two different times.
Everything was different about these two different projects. But speaking of what you said, I did love their chemistry.
Yes.
Like when he touched his shoulder and he walked off and he looked back sad.
Yes.
That was
It was everything, right?
That was so. Why wouldn't you want that?
So
that was gold, okay? That was just gold.
I think and this has come up before. The character in The Shy, Luke James. Luke James's character, who was married to the transgender young lady. The original character got murdered off because they said that he did not want to engage in a role with someone who was transgender. Mm-hmm. So they killed off the brother and then brought this young man on.
Which young lady is actually not transgender in real life.
Really?
That is a female.
Mm-hmm. So this is a show. I feel like it stems from the homophobia in the Black community. Yeah, I feel like we are so, as a people, we are so couched in gender roles and homosexuality being wrong, and especially the toxic masculinity. So if you are a man, how dare you be comfortable with your sexuality enough to play this role?
Yeah.
And as you said, this is a role. This is this person's job. This is their career. If you are a model, you're going to model different types of clothing.
Yep.
And so if this is what this person is doing for their career, I'm not understanding how we get so lost on, or the point gets lost on us, that this is a person's job. And so because of our small-mindedness culturally, we find it difficult to let people be who they are as an individual and then act as they choose as an actor.
There are so many layers to this.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because I think we all know that in the Black community, we are last in line to have tolerance in this area.
Right.
Like, we don't tolerate it as a whole.
Right.
I mean, we are the last.
Right.
We still can see in some circles where people use certain terminology.
Right.
Like, whoa,
where they
we
do
don't
that
say
at?
that no more.
Where they do that at?
Yes,
right.
It's so disrespectful.
And it's because they intend to be that disrespectful.
Well, because again, we don't have the tolerance. The tolerance is not there, and especially for gay Black men. Mm-hmm. Now, even lesbians have a little easier time in the Black community than gay Black men.
We don't understand that. But,
well, you know, I can't say that.
Look. Okay.
I might have misspoken there, because I don't. I can't say that. I don't know their experience. But what I do know is, as far as social media is concerned,
it's highly favored for women to be.
It's more favored than it is.
It's more accepted. It's I won't say accepted.
I do think it's a problem with. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I do think it's a problem with us, because, and then I also blame what's considered as Hollywood, the other side of Hollywood, because they make us feel like we have to work extra hard or be a certain type of way. You can be however you want to be. I ain't gonna be nobody but me for me. Right. But they make certain people who want to thrive to be actors, you have to be this color, look this way, act this way to get certain types of jobs. Mm-hmm. So when someone is not fitting in that box of, you know, I'm not gay in real life, or if you are gay in real life, I have to hide this so I can go get this job. Right. Like, you always have to be so guarded these days with us. Like, you don't have to be guarded this much. Why is it so hard? Like, it's not that hard to be you. Right. If they don't like it, walk away.
And I think Hollywood is more accepting than the Black community. Yeah. And so I feel like if you are gay, transgender, whatever, I think the issue is still that there are things that Black people don't have access to. Yeah. But Hollywood as an entity, they are definitely warming up to and opening up to more. Yeah, now. But when it comes to Black people, you have to be very discerning, because this could put you on the outs with the Black community.
With everybody.
Yeah.
And I think it stems from the fact, and I know this is not going to be a popular opinion, but it's just my opinion. I think it stems from the fact that as a whole, we are all dealing with an identity crisis.
Absolutely.
And so when someone tries to tell us who we are and who we're supposed to be, we reject that wholeheartedly, because we are having an identity crisis as a whole. We don't know if we're Black, African American. We don't know
That's
what.
A good point.
I mean, and then they change these labels so much. And then you talk to certain Black people, and you say Black people, they say, oh, you're supposed to say African American. And it's like, okay, but I'm from America. Right. Look, I'm from Chicago. I ain't never been to Africa. Not that I'm discounting it, but at the same
That's not my
time,
experience.
where my identity
That's
comes
not my
from is that
origin.
it's not there.
That's right.
So we are all collectively having an identity crisis. So when you find people that identify so strong and they're like, I know who I am. I am gay. I know who I am. I'm a lesbian. I know who I am. It makes you feel some type of way because literally we don't know who we are.
And that's a beautiful point, because as a lesbian woman, you have to fight to get to that place of security and identity. And like, I literally talk to myself like, okay, if this person ain't checking for me, that's cool. Because guess what? It took me a long time to even be able to say that confidently in a public space. And so if you are going to come at me and question any part of me, I reject it because you don't have that place. And then I am going to let you know what I am or who I am. And so you're right. And so for us to, as a Black people, have such an identity crisis when we are, and this is true in the face of anybody who has confidence about anything. As a fat woman, who steps into a room and who's saying you're either going to love me or not, and it doesn't faze me either way, because before I walked in this room, I didn't know if you existed on this planet.
Or as a dark woman.
And exactly. And so because of the fact that I've had to reject certain things that people have put on me as labels, I am confident in the thing that I do walk in. And if you question it, I choose to whether I acknowledge that or whether I check you and let you know that that's not your place to call me out on anything.
Well, I think if there's anything to learn from this whole topic, it's to learn that you really just have to know who you are.
Absolutely.
You have to know.
Absolutely.
And then you got to be more understanding and tolerant of people who do know who they are.
Right.
I think where we run into problems is because within our own community, people are constantly telling you, well, you can't be Black if you ain't never watched Martin.
Right.
And it's like,
wait a minute,
what does that come
First of all,
right.
Yes. But
They do that on Facebook.
It makes us question ourselves constantly. If you talk a certain way, if you like a certain type of music, anything you do, you're always in question of if you are or not Black. So that's where our identity crisis comes from.
Yeah.
And we have to resolve that within ourselves and just know who you are.
And just be clear that whatever issues people have with you are their issues with you. If you choose to internalize them and make them your issues, then that's unfortunate. But if you got an issue with who I sleep with, or you got an issue with what's going on, that's you to carry home and figure that out and work that out on your knees or wherever you work things out.
I mean, I say live and let live. Let people be happy. Right. It's none of our business who people choose to have relationships with. All I'm gonna say is save some of the chocolate
for you,
for the women. That's all I'm saying.
Blackberry.
Yes, it's definitely the cute ones.
On that note, we're gonna recognize another one of our sponsors. Hey ladies, don't hide your curves, own your curves. Want to be bold, sophisticated, and ready for any occasion? We know you do. So visit the Dorcas Collection by D. Moore for all your fashion needs. No fashionista is complete without her go-to dress, jumpsuit, or classic pant. Get yours today and give your wardrobe an upgrade. The Dorcas Collection by D. Moore is a one-stop clothing concierge service offering a collection of exclusive, one-of-a-kind pieces and couture custom creations. Visit www.thedorcascollectionbydmore.com today and tell them Stunner Radio sent you. So we kind of went over our time. So we don't have time to do our soapbox, but that gives you guys an opportunity to tune in next week. So before we go, I do want us all to leave like a little bit of encouraging words for the audience. So we want to start with, who will go first?
I go first.
Felicia.
Because I'm a poet, I feel like I should do this.
Right now, let's hear it.
You have been given this platform for a reason. So use it for the glory of his name and not for your personal adornment. You were sent here on an SOS mission from the Lord, saving souls across his land, guiding them back to him. As a reimbursement of your praise, letting them know that you too have been where they are. Once afraid to leave your trials and tribulations, now standing before them as a survivor, look, you have been there. You was afraid to let go, but God reminded you that he is here for you whenever you are ready to come back home. See, you are forgiven. You are loved. You are highly favored. You are inspired. You are a goddess. You are a survivor. So live in your truth and never, ever let anyone take you down from it.
All right. Ooh, it's kind of hard to go behind that.
So I think my word, I'm still kind of on the conversation that we just got off of, but for myself, it is just be you, because there is nobody on this planet who has my story. There is nobody on this planet who has your story. And whatever you have to say into the universe matters to someone. Somebody needs to hear it. And so be you, be confident, be comfortable, and it's a process. Again, be gentle with yourself because the world is going to beat you up. So love on yourself as you want to be loved, because there's no guarantee that you're going to get it from anywhere else. So be you, be gentle with yourself, love yourself, all is well.
Yes. Well, my word of encouragement is go eat that donut, sis. Eat that donut, sis.
Eat it.
Sip that glass of wine.
Yes.
It's gonna be all right.
Yes.
You know, sometimes we just
Yes.
want to hinder ourselves because we're trying to fit into a certain mold.
Box. Yes,
Enjoy your life. Now, don't eat the whole box of donuts.
but enjoy.
But it's gonna be all
But
right
what
if
if
you
they
have
enjoy
one
it?
piece.
What if they enjoy the box?
If you enjoy the box,
Work out the next day.
Okay.
if you enjoy the whole box, I have some resources for you. Okay? Hit me up in the inbox.
Hello.
But basically enjoy your life.
Yeah.
Don't be so worried about fitting into whatever parameters people are putting you in that you don't even enjoy your life. Because trust me, if 2020 had not taught me anything, it has taught me that life is a vapor.
Vapor.
It is a vapor.
Come on.
And it's here today and it's gone tomorrow.
Come on.
And so you can't worry about small things. You really, and the funny thing about it is my friend that was murdered in January, that was his last post on Facebook. Life is a vapor.
Wow.
And he was gone a week later.
Wow.
And that really showed me something like,
Yeah.
it really is.
Yeah.
We say life is short, but do we really realize that none of us is guaranteed to even be here tonight? So don't stress. Don't stress about the small stuff, man. Just enjoy your life.
I agree.
We're going to leave you with the last word, our special guest.
I would say guard your space because everyone is not welcome, shouldn't be as welcoming to be in your space. You should be able to allow people in, but know when you can just move people out. Like let them people go. Like somebody is not healthy or toxic for you and they want to cause you harm or don't accept you, let them go.
Yes.
That's good.
And with that being said, we want to thank you all for tuning in.
Yes.
It's been a great show.
So good.
And we will see y'all next week. We want to give a thanks to Vanguard Media and the Al Rucker Show. To learn more about Vanguard Media, visit www.vanguardmediallc.com and be sure to check your local listings for the Al Rucker Show or visit the Al Rucker Show or alruckershow.com. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Ooh, my earring.